The first time I try to kill myself, God barges into my hospital room, yanks me out of my bed and yells, "Did you really think it would be that easy?"
Come on.
These are a list of things a teenage girl learns when she stops going to church on Sundays and starts learning to fight after hours. Number 1, God is a pair of boxing gloves that are drenched in pubescent sweat. He's the tape that you suffocate your hands and your wrists with to prevent the world from slipping through your fingers. But the funny thing is, God doesn't start to look holy until you paint a picture of your own into his knuckles, and you don't get a good look at him until you take your first slit at midnight on the floor of your boyfriend's bathroom, and that first wave of self-destructive euphoria hits you right in the head. Number 2, prayer is not something you are born with. To do prayer, you must carve it into your flesh until it is so swollen and so scarred you cannot see the raw skin beneath it. To do prayer, you must be women in long dresses or men in fancy suits, but neither she nor he does prayer like we do, us queers and Koreans and immigrants. No, they don't do prayer like we do because God is not listening if I am not bleeding the very crimson red he has injected into my veins. The first time I tried to kill myself, God visits me in my hospital room and warns a queer Korean immigrant is her own kind of prophet. He will tell me that to do prayer, you must first learn it. And learning prayer means accepting no answer when no answer is due. Last but not least, number 3, if you want to love anyone in this world, you must hate them first. And I know this to be true because I could have never vowed to love anyone like I could have to love you. Like when Hannah has her first boy, she says to the Lord, "And he will always be yours." But when my pastor reads me this for the first time, I tell him that wasn't her promise to make, just as the decision was not mine when I came out of the womb as a weak little girl and not the strong boy that my father had expected. Just as the words were not mine when I told my mother I could take care of myself and that I was ready to go live on my own now. Just as the choice to train my hands into weapons that could not take accountability for the internal homicide that had ruled the crucible of my heart inadequate. But again, was it ever really my choice when the last time I ever tried to kill myself, I whispered to God that my world was crumbling into ruins in my very last prayer, because perhaps throughout it all, my only destiny was a hymn of my very own midnight affair.